Hello, everybody. My name is Max, and welcome to another B2 First Speaking lesson. In this lesson, we're going to learn everything about pronunciation. We're going to learn how you can get 5 scores in your pronunciation, what things you have to do in order to get those 5 scores, and we're going to talk about it in details. So without any hesitation, let's begin. All right, so let's take a look at pronunciation and see what it means. So when we say pronunciation, there are many factors, let's say, into it. So you have to do different things in order to get 5 scores. It's not just having a good pronunciation. Well, there are different things, there are different aspects which you have to consider if you want to get 5 scores in your pronunciation. Now, the first thing is it says that your pronunciation is intelligible. Now, when we say intelligible, let's first read everything, and then we're going to talk about them one by one. So the pronunciation is intelligible, intonation is appropriate, sentence and word stress is accurately placed, individual sounds are articulated clearly. So let's try to take a look at all of them one by one. So when the pronunciation is intelligible, what does it mean? Let's try to talk about this one. So imagine you are talking to a non-native English speaker, a person whose, let's say, first language is not English. Okay, for example, you're talking to someone from, I don't know, Spain. You're talking to someone from India, China. So they don't speak English, right? It's not their first language. And so what the examiners are looking for is that your pronunciation should be clear enough for non-native English speakers to understand that. So even if you have some kind of an accent, which is fine, don't worry about the accent. You can have whatever accent you want. You can have Indian, Chinese, Spanish, whatever accent you want to have. That's completely fine as long as a non-native English speaker can understand what you're saying. So if the person cannot understand you, because remember, accent is fine, pronunciation can be, for example, the problem here. So you can have whatever accent you want to have, not a problem. You're not going to lose any point because of your accent. But if your pronunciation is not clear, the way that you're pronouncing the words, for example, individual sounds are not really clear, you're going to lose point. So the person that is listening to you, that person should understand you, let's say, despite the accent that you have. So the pronunciation should be clear and the person should understand what you're saying. Now, this is referring to pronunciation is intelligible. Now, also when we are saying pronunciation, there are other factors into that as well. We've got pronunciation of individual sounds. We have word and sentence stress. We have intonation, which we have to also take a look at those words as well. So when we say individual sounds, it refers to 3 different categories. One of the category that we're talking about is, let's say, pronounced vowels. The sounds that we usually pronounce, like A, E, I, O, U, for example, these are some of the vowels that we have. Sometimes some vowels come together and they create some kind of a sound, like A in hate, or for example, in host, in O. So these are, let's say, individual sounds, or sometimes consonants, which, for example, they don't have any, let's say, pronounced vowel in them. Like, for example, in cut, the word cut, you have to pronounce the C like k, 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 cut. Or, for example, in the word fish, you're pronouncing F like f, f, fish. So these are the things that the examiners are looking for. And you should be able to pronounce them correctly, these individual sounds. Like, for example, I've seen so many students that they have problem with W. When they want to pronounce this word, they pronounce it like V, and they say word, which is what. You have to just change your formation of lips, like you're trying to kiss someone. It's like what word, for example. So These are the things that actually explain them all in our pronunciation course. So don't worry about them. You are going to learn everything about these things in detail in our pronunciation course. Now, let's take a look at other things as well. So we talked about individual sounds and pronunciation is intelligible. What about this stress? So we said we have sentence and word stress. So first of all, what is stress? So as you know, in English, there are so many words that they have more than one syllable. Some words, they have only one syllable. Some words, they have more than one syllable. Now, those words that they have more than one syllable, 2, 3, 4, whatever, one syllable is usually pronounced, let's say, more loudly and clearly. So we say it probably longer or stronger. That part or that syllable is called a stress. We put, like, let's say, a stress on that part or that syllable. For example, look at this word here, important, important. You see, I'm putting extra syllable, or let's say somehow not extra syllable, it's like an extra stress right now because I want you to understand that. I'm saying like important, important, but I don't say important. I say important. So the first part, I'm not, that im is not really pronounced strongly, as well as the end of it, tent, is not really pronounced, let's say, strongly. The only part that is stressed is por, important, important. So this is the stress. And sometimes some words in English, they have, let's say, the noun form is the same as verb form. So what should I do in this situation? Should I pronounce them the same? For example, the word protest, it can pronounce protest, and we can also pronounce it protest. Protest, protest. So what's the difference between these two? How can I distinguish the difference between the pronunciation? So first of all, one thing that you got to consider is that whenever you have some kind of a question like this, you don't know where to like find this stress. The best way to find them is dictionary. So you got to go there and you got to find them in dictionary, which again, if you don't know how to use a dictionary, if you don't know how to find this stress in dictionary, it's all explained in the pronunciation course. I just have some examples there. I will show you how to find these, let's say, stress, and how to, like, let's say, find this stress with the dictionary. So don't worry about it. It's all explained there. Here, I'm just giving you the information of what things are important for the examiners. So this stress is very important for the examiners. If you put this stress, for example, in a wrong, imagine you put the stress on a wrong syllable, the examiners will understand that easily. So you should try to always put the stress on the right syllable. So this is about word stress. Now, sometimes we, let's say, focus on sentence stress rather than word stress. Now, when we say sentence stress, it means one word in the sentence pronounced, let's say, more loudly and clearly, the word in all the sentence. Why and when do we do that? Mostly we do this whenever we want to indicate that that word is really important in our sentence or gives the meaning to the whole sentence. So that's why we put this stress on that word. And remember, you can put this stress in any word in a sentence you want, and the meaning will change. So you have to be very careful of where you're putting the stress. If you put this stress in a wrong sentence or in a wrong word in a sentence, so the meaning might change. So I might understand something else. For example, look at this example here. It says, why is that, for example, this, let me read it without putting the stress. Why is that one important? So I can say, why is that one important? Why is that one important? Whereas I can say, why is that one important? Why is that one important? Now you see, I'm putting the stress on that. Why is that one important? Not the other ones, that one. So I'm saying, why is that one important? I'm focusing on that. It means I don't care about others. Why is that one important? Whereas in the first sentence, why is that one important? I'm focusing on the reason why. Why is that one important? I don't care. I'm not focusing on the other ones. I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the reason here. My focus is on the reason. Again, these sentence stress and everything is explained in our pronunciation course. So don't worry about it. Again, there I'm going to explain that. So in the exam, this is really important. You should remember sentence stress and word stress because the examiners are also looking for this too when they are giving you a score for your pronunciation. They will check your stress, definitely word stress and sentence stress. And the last thing that the examiners will check is your intonation. Now, what is intonation? Intonation is the way voice rises or falls. And usually we use that in, let's say, a lot of different situations in English. And it's not just for one situation we just try to, our voice goes up or down. We use that in a lot of different situations. For example, let me give you an example. Imagine yesterday you went to a shopping mall, okay? And you bought many things. Now you came home and, for example, your mother is asking you, okay, what did you buy? And you start telling her the list of the things that you bought. You say, I bought potatoes, tomatoes, onions, and the last option in the list, listen to it, cucumber. You see, the last option, my voice, like, let's say it's falling. But for the previous items, my voice was rising, was going up. Tomatoes, potatoes, and cucumber. Potatoes, tomatoes, and cucumber. So I'm not saying and cucumber, no, and cucumber. It's coming down. Now, this is, for example, one example of intonation. When we are talking about a list, when you're talking about, for example, things that you did, let's say, in the past, and you're just listing them, before you finish the list, all the items of the list, your voice should go up. And the last item of the list, your voice should go down or should fall. And this is one example of intonation. Now, there are many other situations, for example, questions, when you want to emphasize something. Again, we have a lot of different situations where your intonation, let's say your voice rises and falls, and you have to learn those situations and see where you can kind of, let's say, your voice rises, falls, and it's all explained in our pronunciation course. You can also check out the list of lessons in the pronunciation list, which is, I think, on the left side of the screen. If you just roll down, you can see all the lessons that I just added there for the pronunciation. And whenever you get access to the course, you can just go there and start watching the videos referring to the pronunciation lessons, and you will learn how to get 5 scores there without any problem. But basically, this is all about pronunciation, and this is what you have to learn in order to get 5 scores in your pronunciation. And you see, it's not that difficult. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video, which is related to interactive communication.